Welcome in, I'm Artris, and in this video we're going to be going over Enel and basically what changes it makes going from OP05 to OP06. Now at the time of this recording, the ban list or restriction list has not been announced quite yet, so there may be some changes once that happens, but I wanted to go ahead and get a head start and talk about how the deck differs from the previous set, what strengths it has now, and typically how you should be piloting this deck overall. And I think those things probably don't change too much, despite some of the cards probably changing over the next week or so at the time of this recording. And as always, if you find anything in this video useful or informative, please make sure to drop a like and a sub. It helps out the channel immensely. Can't thank you enough for the support. Also, if you'd like to talk about One Piece outside of the YouTube comments, please make sure to join the Discord. The link is in the description below. So getting into the deck list, I do want to preface that this deck list was built off of a deck list that topped in Japan. I believe it placed second in a championship, I think around early December. A lot of the cards are the same, but there are some changes here and there. And when we get to those changes, I'll discuss why I made those changes overall. But I do think that this list, as of right now, feels really strong, even stronger than the list that I think topped in Japan. So let's get into what we have here. We're running 4 Shirahoshi, and I know a lot of people in OP05 we're on the fence. Do I run 4 Shirahoshi, 2 Shura, or do I go 4 Shura, 2 or 3 Shirahoshi? And I think in 05, Shura made more sense because you're playing the Sky Island package, but in this set, in this meta, I don't think you're running the Sky Island package per se. You could, and it could be fine overall. However, you're looking to play a lot more of your top end, and you're kind of manipulating life and doing a kind of a weird song and dance with some of the characters you have in your deck. So getting to that top end, you either draw into it or, you draw into it. So how do you draw into it other than just the one draw turn? Shirahoshi, either hard casting it or coming out of life, which there are ways to set that up, which we'll get to in a second. Then we're running 4 of the 8-cost Charlotte Katakuri. People say, can you run this deck without the 8-cost Katakuri? And I think you have to play a full playset of them. It is one of the few cards that can help sustain yourself, keep you alive as the game goes on. It also can remove threats from the field. So I think it's very important to have a full playset. You could technically run 3 if you're on a budget per se, but I highly recommend 4 if you're looking to play this in the max efficiency. Then we're running 4 of the Capone Beige, one of the contenders for being on the banned or restriction list from what I see on social media discourse. This card is, I think the reason why it is one of those cards that is being considered is this card just wins you games. It is at worst a 2K counter, and if it is in your life, then especially the last life, it will win you games. A 4 of is definitely a must in my opinion here. There's not really a way to set it up for the last life, but luck has it, it will happen at least some point in time when you're playing this deck. So keep that in mind. Then we're running 4 of the Yamatos. This is your big boss monster of the deck. This is the highest top end you can have. And on play, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost that is equal to or less than the total of you and your opponent. Then if you have 1 or less life, you may add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to your life area. It will help you stay alive in the game. It's very hard for your opponent to remove this. If they're playing Sakazuki or if they're playing Gecko Moria, they have to use a lot of resources to get this off the field. And while they're doing that, you are healing back up to 2, and then your leader ability is a lot more safe at that regard. If you're at 2, you feel like, oh, I'll take the hit, and then I can take 2 more hits at least. So Yamato is a absolute 4 of must in this deck. It is extremely strong. And then, of course, the change that I made here from the topping list in Japan to this list is that they ran 7-cost Big Mom, and I think that 7-cost Big Mom is a decent card. It is a fair card to run, and if the meta is very slow, I think you could probably consider running it. However, I didn't feel like it was good enough or warranted enough merit for me to run this, I suppose. The thing is, like, if you look at OP05, what happened with 7-cost Big Mom when you played it against Sakazuki? They didn't care. They gave you a life and then they got rid of it the next turn. So you drew a card for 7 Dawn. That doesn't feel too good at the end of the day. Here though, Enel demands an answer. It either takes cards out of the opponent's hand or they lose a life. It's a body that adds extreme pressure to the opponent. They have to spend so many resources trying to get rid of it. It's a annoying, pesky card, and because of that, I think I want to run 4. I'm a little bit biased as well. I went ahead and bought like the alt arts for Enel, so that's also why I'm running 4 on the side note, but I do think that it is the better choice between that and 7-cost Big Mom. Then we're running 4 Gedatsu. This one I was kind of on the fence about. In 05, I didn't really feel like Gedatsu put in a lot of work. You kind of had to play this weird game of like, oh, I'm going to starve my opponent for a turn or two so that I can use the Gedatsu ability to be able to pop something that they play, whether it be like a 4-cost Kuzan or whatever it may be. But in this meta, you are kind of playing, like I said at the beginning, like a weird song and dance with your opponent with your life. Your opponent has to decide, oh, do I go down to 3 life? And then risk the Kiku Nojo, which we'll talk about in a second, coming out? Or do I stay alive, healthy, alive at 4 life, and then potentially have the Gedatsu come down and KO one of my 4-cost bodies? So it kind of puts this weird pressure on your opponent, like a mind game when you're playing Gedatsu and Kiku Nojo in this deck. What does your opponent really think that you have in your hand? What are they willing to give up in order to maximize their best efforts? 4 Gedatsu makes the most sense here. Then we're running 4 Satori. In the championship list, I believe they ran the 2-cost Sanji 2K counter, the one that you can throw down and with 2 Don on it and draw a card from the top or bottom of your life. I think that's a fair alternative. However, I feel like Satori did put a lot of work in for me in 05. Having an extra body come out of life is really important, I think, and your opponent may not account for like that trigger, especially if they're looking at like net deck list and expecting maybe like a 2-cost Sanji. So I think Satori really deserves a spot here. It is a 2K counter at worst, but if it comes out of life and you need an extra body, some extra pressure, you can use the effect to play it on the field. Then a new addition to 06 is Onami, which is on play, give up to one of your leaders or characters banish for this turn. It has a 1K counter, and the trigger says KO up to one of your opponent's 5-cost or lower characters. So this card is replacing your Thunderbolts, those dead cards in hand that happen to be clogging your hand quite often in 05. It has a 1K counter. It has banish on it that you can give to a character or your leader, either one. And if you play this down on the field, it is a potential body that you can pump up with Amaru and swing in for at least 6K with that. So it is a really strong card. A 4 of is must. It is one of those cards that if it's in life, you're happy. If it's in your hand, you're happy. It's one of those cards that feels really overtuned for what it does, you know, for 2 costs. So yeah. Then we're running 4 of the Kiku Nojo. It's a 4-cost 6K body. This is a new card that comes out in OP06 that says on KO, if your opponent's life is 3 or less, place the top card of your deck to the top of your life. So it heals you if they KO it. Otherwise, it is a consistent body that will be swinging 6 with a vanilla stat line, you know, 4-cost 6K body. And the trigger is really good too. If your opponent's life is at 3 or less, play this card. Going back to the Gedatsu argument, you are swinging at your opponent and they're like, oh, I could go down to 3 life or I could stay at 4 life. You can either Gedatsu them the next turn or you could Kiku Nojo out of life, or just play the Kiku Nojo and know that you're going to have this body that is going to be consistently pressuring them, or you can gain a life off of it. So I think the versatility here is really strong, really good card to come out of 06, and it's also incredibly pesky and annoying. That's one of the things that you'll find out about this Enel deck, is that it's annoying. It's an annoying deck to deal with. It consistently will heal up. There's a lot of bodies that you don't really want to deal with, or that they deal with your stuff really efficiently. So Enel is one of those decks that I understand why people don't like it. Next up, we're running 4 Hiyori. This is a new 2K counter from OP06 that says on play, you may put the top or bottom card of your life pile into your hand. Put up to 1 card from your hand on top of your life pile. So this is a good way for you to be able to stack your life a certain way. You can put an Onami there if you want to use the effect on Onami. You can put a Kiku Nojo there if you want to have a body come out for free. You can stack your life to put Shirahoshi at the top and then be able to draw off of it. So there's plenty of options here. Sure, you're getting rid of a 2K counter in the process, but we're running 12 2K counters in total, so you should be okay to let one go here and there. So Hiyori is a really good card to come out of 06. Being able to stack your life is really powerful. Then we're running 2 of the Momonosuke blockers, which comes out of OP06. This is a on play, place up to one of your Wano type characters other than Momonosuke on the top or bottom of its owner's life pile face up. This is like a Katakuri, but for your own Wano type characters, and you're running a fair amount. You are running, I believe, looks like 12 total. So we're running 4 Kiku Nojo, we're running 4 Yamato, and 4 Hiyori. So if you do play the Hiyori, you're able to put it back in life and get it back in hand. So it is not completely tossing a 2K away. You can also do the same thing with Kiku Nojo if you want to like just sustain yourself and know that the body's going to come out again and be safe. You can do that. And there are unique case times where you can throw your Yamato up if you really want to have that back in hand and maybe KO something on the field, and then also gain that life again, you know? So there are some unique cases when you can do the 9 cost, but it does, for the most part, just put the Hiyori and the Kikunojo back in life. And we're running 2 of them. It doesn't have a counter, which does have a little bit of a problem in this deck, you'll see in a second, but overall, it is one card that can help keep you alive and recycle some things that you may need. Then we're running 3 of the 200 million volts Amaru. This is a card that I think you need to run 3 of. I've seen some lists run 4. I've seen some lists run 2. 2 feels like not enough. 4 feels like too much. This card on trigger can keep you alive a little bit longer, and then also it will help you get past some of the blockers that Gecko Moria or that Sakazuki throw down, their 4-cost blockers. It's really strong. Its effect is up to one of your leader or characters gains plus 3,000 power for this turn. Then if your life is 1 card or less, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So 3 of these is definitely a must here. So yeah, I love to see this. I usually keep 1 in hand to try to go for lethal at the end of the game. Then a new card from OP06 is a 0-cost event counter. You may trash 1 card from your hand. Your leader or up to one of your characters gains plus 3,000 power for this battle. So one thing that I found that this deck has a problem with is not having enough counters at times. Sometimes you have too many counters, sometimes you have not enough. You do have a fair amount of dead cards in hand. I believe about half the deck has no counter on it. So having this new counter event, a 0-cost event, in your hand would be really useful for some of the times where maybe you need to stay alive and all you have are duds in your hand. And this is a card that I added in after seeing the championship list, and one of the reasons was, spoiler alert, the reason why the guy didn't win the championship is because he didn't have enough counter in hand and he had a bunch of duds. So I feel like this card is probably very necessary considering how many cards have 0 counter on them. And basically, seeing that we have 12 2Ks, and I believe we have a fair amount, I want to say like maybe 12 1Ks, this essentially guarantees that you have 14 2Ks, 14 1Ks at that point, because this kind of counts as a 2 and a 1 if you're discarding this and another card. So overall, bumping up the counter list for your hand, for your deck, is really strong. So the other thing I didn't talk about here, though, is the trigger is if you have 0 life cards, put the top card of your deck onto your life pile, then trash 1 card from your hand. It's the Enel effect. So if it is the last life in your life, I believe that you can use this effect, heal up 1, and then use your leader ability to heal up 1. Not 100% sure on that, but I believe that's how it's supposed to work. So you can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that. And then the other thing that is in OP06 that's a really strong card here is Impact. It is a 4-cost event that is main. Choose one of the following. KO up to one of your opponent's 5-cost or lower characters, or if your opponent has 1 life, deal 1 damage to them, then add the top card of your life to your hand. Both of those effects are really good at any point in the game. This card also kind of replaces your Bolt, and you can also feel safe attacking into your opponent and not being able to get dot to them because you have Impact as a backup. So that's something to keep in mind. And the other thing is you can go for lethal with this. You can just kill that last life, and it does trigger, keep that in mind. So if there is a beige or something in that last life, it will trigger. But other than that, this card is really strong. The effect on trigger is draw 1 card. So once again, not really a downside to a lot of these trigger effects for the event. So yeah, overall, this deck is really strong. So let's take it into the sim and see how it does. Just keep in mind before we do get into the sim games, the only way that you can play this right now is on the East server, and so I believe there's a fair amount of EBO1 cards, which we're not quite into yet. So there probably will be some games where I'm going against some leaders that have some EBO1 cards that have pumped them up and helped them become stronger, but you won't necessarily come across those just yet, as 06 doesn't have a lot of that support. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, I digress. Let's get into some games. All right, Queen is one that we're probably not going to see much of in 06, but with the EBO1, it's pretty strong, so you'll see that here. We're just going to play the Hiyori off the bat and just use the action to take the top life and then put the Shirahoshi on top so that we can get that card draw going. I think that one of the strong things that Queen has going for it in 06, no, rather EBO1, is that with Sanji, they can take out a couple of bodies with them, which is really nice. So we're going to use this effect. I think I'll just get rid of the Impact and probably another Shirahoshi, to be fair. And then next, we're just going to swing 5. And then we're going to throw down the Kikunojo regardless. They'll probably have a way to bottom deck it. That's one problem that you're going to have with going against Queen, is that they do bottom deck a lot of your stuff that has KO effects. But yeah, it is what it is. We're essentially trying to get down our Katakuri so that their only answer to the Katakuri would be to Red Rocket. So, something to keep in mind there. Another Shirahoshi off of life. Love to see it. Onami is powerful. I'm going to get rid of the Momonosuke, and I think I will get rid of the Onami here. I do like to be able to crit, but the problem is I figured they're going to throw a blocker down. There's no real time for me to play this, and the blocker, my Momonosuke blocker, doesn't really do much. It just keeps me alive, which I don't really care about. So we'll get rid of this. We'll swing 5. They'll probably counter out, and then we'll swing 7. And then we'll be set up for the next turn to be able to put a Shirahoshi back in life with the Katakuri, which is really strong. Go 7 here. I imagine they'll probably take it, although Queen does like to get rid of cards in hand pretty early on, so we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if they countered a 2 and a 1. That also does wonders for them as well. So this card is probably really strong for them. Getting rid of a Katakuri is really strange. They must have better top end, I imagine. So this turn for them will probably be swing 7, I guess, and then put a 5-cost blocker X-Drake down, stack their life, and get ready for their 9 Dawn turn. So they probably will be playing a Sanji into something else. Them playing a Red Rock right there is extremely good for us because that means one less Red Rock for us to have to worry about. Ooh, that's also a really good trigger for our like Yamatos or Katakuris. By the way, I recently got a new desk, and this desk is a standing desk, so if you see me moving around a little bit, that's the reason why. I have been extremely lazy and just like sitting down a lot at home, especially when I play these games, but no more being lazy. I could throw down the Enel here and provide a lot of pressure, but I don't think I'll do that. I think I'll just do this. Play the Katakuri, because they can answer the Enel with like a Mihawk, for instance. Now, this could be a Sanji into a Mihawk turn, which is a really strong turn from them. It's going to be hard for us to deal with. Their best turn, or their best move here would be like Red Rock, I suppose, to get this off the field and then attack into the Kadatsu. I don't think they really want to heal me, though, so they probably are not going to attack into the Kiku Nojo. But who knows? They have a couple of options here, which could be pretty potent. It also could just be... I'm just trying to think of like what their best move is here. And maybe how we can plan around it accordingly. If they go 5 at face, I think I'll just take it, get the card draw off of the Shirahoshi. Then they'll play... Okay, Yamato's fine as well. This is actually really good for us because now we can KO one of their blockers with our own Yamato. We'll use the trigger, and do we need a second NL? I don't think so, and I don't think we need another Shirahoshi. So we'll put that there. Who do we care about less? I want to see Boa Hancock more, so instead of Brule, so let's just get rid of the Brule. Swing 5. I think I go 5, 6, 6, 9, maybe? Or we could go 5, 6, 7, 8. They're probably going to block one of these anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'll probably take this life and then block the Katakuri. Or they could counter out. They might have it. We'll see. But yeah, this is a really threatening, strong board right now on our side. We have a lot more sustainability in our hand as well. So we can recycle the Shirahoshi with our Katakuri. We could play another Yamato. We could just go ham and play Enel. So there's a couple of things we could do here. I'm curious as to what their play is. Like, what is their best play? Not quite sure. They could go like 6 into one of our characters here, play the Sanji. Okay, they have just a blocker. I think that's fine for us. They will heal off of this, of course. So that's not too big of a problem. If they do try to go after our Katakuri, we do have a fair amount of counter in hand. We have 2 2Ks, a 1K, and then of course we have our new event card to be able to counter out. I do want to keep this Volt just in case, because they do have a lot of blockers, and the blockers that they play, you can easily rest for the most part, unless they're playing X-Drake, of course. What does this card do? Duval, it's a new blocker from starter deck 12. Look at three cards from the top of your deck and place them at the top or bottom of the deck in any order. Okay. So it's essentially like a weaker Doflamingo. So, okay. So they played the Duval, placed the cards on top, then looked at the next 5. Interesting. All right. It is what it is. It's fine. They're going to heal off of this. And whatever they heal, it's probably a blocker. It's probably like a Boa Hancock or maybe a Brule. We'll see. I think our next move, though, is our best move on our part is, if it's manageable, keep all of our bodies alive to the best of our ability. If they swing like a Yamato at like a Gadatsu or a Kikunojo, we're just going to let that one go. But if we can keep the Katakuri alive from the Yamato swing, we'll do it. And also with the Queen swing, depending on how hard they go, this is looking like it's a pretty hard go for us. I think I want to keep this Katakuri, or I want to keep this Enel rather, so we're going to no block, use this, and then counter out a 1. We'll keep that alive, and then if they go 8 at one of these, that's fine. They might go 8 here, but I don't think that's the right move. Yeah, get rid of the Gadatsu, that's fine, that's fine. What do we do? This deck is a weird one. It's like, I think you just swing 7s against it if you can. I think we just go 7. I want to play the Yamato, but it doesn't feel great. Okay, cool. It doesn't feel too good playing that Yamato down and getting rid of one blocker and not healing. I want to use it like in the max efficiency, the best way that I can. So we're just going to pressure hard because there's no way that they can counter out of all of this. I imagine some of this will... Okay, it's a beige. That's fine. Well, we can just do this. There's no way they can do this, so they'll have to block. Then we'll go again. Block, block. And then this is where the Queen game happens, you know? They start taking out all the bodies. It is what it is. Here's the Sanji. Oh, that's actually a really good play. Sanji into Katakuri. I knew that they were setting something up like that. Then they'll be able to heal off of it. What are they going to put into my life? Okay. That's really strong. Although... our Amaru's not alive is the problem. Ah. That is a little bit of an issue. Does it really matter? I don't think it matters. Because if I protect it, like they're going to swing here. Yeah, sure. That's fine. Get rid of it. They have to have like some amazing life here. We'll just go 7. Go 9. And that should be it. If it had no trigger, that means we win, right? Yeah. All right. I think that this deck does gain some legs. Don't get me wrong. I think that Queen is a really good deck overall. I think that it does struggle against like Katakuri, which we might see some bans from Katakuri with the 10 cost Big Mom, because that's like the biggest bane to this deck. With the addition of the Sanji, it really strengthens it though. I'm curious as to how it plays overall, but I think if you can throw down some bigger bodies before they go and throw their big bodies down, it's harder for them to capitalize on what they're trying to do because they don't want you to have anything on your side of the field. So they kind of have to control your stuff before any of their stuff comes down. So that's why it's important, in my opinion, to play either a Rushanel or like a Katakuri going second, because it's really hard for them to answer that. So on to the next. Alrighty, Gecko Moria. This deck is really good. Really annoying. I think we'll try to keep this hand. And I say try because I imagine that we're probably going to have to discard a lot of stuff, which sucks. That is one thing that Gecko Moria does really well is with the new Perona that they have, the 2k counter, they're just able to just mess you up real hard. What is the right move here? Let's try this out. Let's just go 6. I kind of want to play the Hiyori and see what we get. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's just put this back. Because I'm trying to think of like what they're going to do to me, and they're going to play the Perona down. I'm going to have to discard something. And I'm trying to think of what to discard here. And it's honestly, it's probably this card. Because I think I need everything for the curve that I need, you know? So we'll swing 6, we'll throw the Kikunojo down. If we get a Gadatsu, I don't know if it's worth doing it against them, but yeah. We'll see. Yeah, this card's really strong. On play, if your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand, which oftentimes you will, choose one of the following. Your opponent discards 1 card from their hand, or give up to one of your opponent's characters cost -3 for the turn. So there's some nice versatility there, and it's also a good body to just swing with. They are also getting rid of their hand, so we like seeing that. The following turn, what we can probably do, have another Perona. Yikes. Yikes. I don't think I need the 200 million volts Amaru right now, so I think we're okay. Yeah, we don't have any counter in hand. This is awful. This is awful. I don't know if I should attack the Peronas, to be quite honest. Like, giving them the Perona to go back into their trash. This is one of the tricky things about going against this deck. We'll keep the 2k counter at least. All right, we're going to swing 5 just to see if they counter out, which they might. Oh, they don't. All right, we'll swing 6. They might counter out here. They're already going to be on 8 Dawn, which absolutely just sucks. Just sucks. Cool. We'll get them down to 3 life. Now our Kikunojo is active, which is nice. They have another Perona in hand, by the way, or in the trash. Sheesh. Disgusting. And it's like you can't really do much against it either. Like if you attack it, right? Oh, I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to get rid of the Enel. Okay. Alrighty, that's fine. Do we let them have it is the question. I think we let them KO it, because they'll probably throw the Absalom down, right? Get rid of this. Is this a... Oh, it's a Lucci turn. Okay. That's fine. We heal 1. We get a life back. We can play Yamatos. We'll play Yamatos. That's actually fine for us. Do we ignore the Peronas? I think we ignore the Peronas for the most part. This is one of the hard parts of playing against Gecko Moria. It's like, do you go for their board if they can just recur it? I mean, they do have... If they have another Ice Age and we get rid of the Lucci, we're in some trouble here. So I think we just let it die. I think we just let it die. It's fine. They have 3 attacks, and we don't really want those attacks to come through. Yeah, we're okay with that. We're fine with it. Okay, I think I'm just gonna go for the body. Now, this is... They can just bring out another one, so it doesn't really matter. They're not gonna bring out 2, so let's just do this. Let's get rid of the body here. Let's get rid of this one here. I don't want to give them the Rob Lucci, because if they play a Gecko Moria this turn... there's a world where they could, like, Ice Age the Yamato, then get it down to 4, then play the Suru and get the Rob Lucci out, and then just KO it. So we have to make them work for it, although they probably can do it with just the Absalom Suru. So it doesn't, honestly, it doesn't really matter. We're like, if they have it, they have it. So this is one of the problems with the decision making around this deck. It's like, what do you do here? What's the best move? Now, they haven't played a Gecko Moria in 8 cost quite yet, so I'm a little bit shocked that they didn't play that on curve, but they might be holding one just to be able to play this turn to recur some stuff. That's one of the power, like one of the more powerful plays that 8 cost Gecko Moria can do is like you take care of the board, and then after you're taking care of the board, they just bring everything that you took care of back out, which could be a wrong way to play it. And I think as you go along into this meta, you'll probably discover this yourself, and I'm trying to figure it out just speaking out loud. What is the best way to play against them? Yeah, they have the Ice Age into the Gecko Moria into the Absalom. Okay, they'll play the Suru down. That's fine. This is fine. This is fine. It's fine. We're okay. We're okay. We could play another Yamato down though. It's okay. Not the end of the world. Let's hope that they attack with their Lucci. They probably won't, though. Okay, so I think the best move for... Oh, they do... What? Why are they attacking? Hello? How many do I have in the trash? Okay, we have 2 more in the deck, so we're fine here. We're going to pressure... We're going to go here. We're going to go against a Suru. We just want to clear board the best we can. Go 6. Okay. I actually want to get rid of this. And the reason why I want to get rid of that is because it does have the extra 1k power versus the Absalom. So we can counter out of the Absalom a little bit easier, but also we can swing into the Absalom a little bit easier. It requires a 2k from them to be able to get out of it. So, all right, so we played one Yamato down. We have a second Yamato, so let's see how we do here. Depends on how like this next turn goes for us. Like if they completely screw us over here, then so be it. Is this another Perona? It is. We'll get rid of a Gadatsu. We don't really need it. We'll get rid of your Absalom. Thank you very much. Yeah, that was probably going to be problematic for them. Oh, let's go! We love KOing a Kuzan. We love it. We love it, love it. If they swing with the Gecko Moria, they are not, because they know that they're a little bit screwed here. So let's get rid of this Kuzan. Just swing 6. They probably don't have a 2k. They might take it. Let's get them down to 1. I don't think they'll have anything to be able to counter out of the Yamato. And then this puts a lot of pressure on them, because now if we had kept that impact, we would have been in a really good spot here, which is something to keep in mind. Something I have to learn as well. When to let go of the impact, when to keep it. Our hand is looking really good, though. We have a lot of stuff here. Despite being Perona'd like 3 or 4 times, we do have some good stuff. 3 2k counters. We have answers to the Gecko Moria in case they do get a little bit crazy. We're able to counter out probably of anything that they throw at us with their own Gecko Moria to our Yamato, and then we can just go hard at their face next turn. I imagine, though, they'll probably try to set up some defense. If I were them, I probably would be putting down like a Borsalino or a Sabo if they're using it. They do have Ice Age, which, hate to see it. Another Gecko Moria, okay. What do they have in their trash? Do they have any blockers they can bring out? Okay, they have a Lucci, but they didn't... Oh, okay. What's the other thing that they have? Is it Suru? Okay, so they're getting rid of it. That's fine. So here's the thing. We could very well go for lethal next turn. I don't know what they have in their hand. Obviously, if you do the math, it's like the most that they can have here is 11. But them having enough counter is very unlikely. Very, very unlikely. this thing live? I think it is. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Honest to God, it doesn't matter. I probably should have just kept this in hand, but get rid of it anyway. Screw it. And so for max efficiency, if we're trying to do it, we go 10. We can go 11, 13, right? Yeah, we can go 11, 13. And that should be enough math for us to get out of it. So this is 11 right here if they had all 2K counters. They don't have any blockers up. Let me just go 13. Yeah. So there we go. That was a little bit scary to begin with. I think most of the Gecko Moria... God, they had 3 Gecko Morias at the 8 cost. Jeez, that's insane. But yeah, this is one of those things where it's like early game against Gecko Moria is really difficult. You kind of have to just pressure their life a little bit, hope that they get low in hand size. They were hurting our hand size a lot, and they ended up having a very small hand size by the end of the game. They don't have like an innate way to draw cards with this deck. So yeah, it's one of those things where I think it'll take some time to learn how to play against Gecko Moria because it's a really good deck. Obviously, if a very good pilot is piloting it, you could be in some trouble, but yeah, it's one of those where I just have to learn how to play it. I think a lot of people are trying to figure out how to play against it. Do you attack into the bodies? Do you ignore the bodies for the most part? So yeah, time will tell with this. Okay, the other boogeyman of the meta, Sakazuki. Don't like this hand. I mean, this hand is okay. It's not bad. I think this hand might be slightly better. Slightly. We'll play down the Hiyori, use it to take the top life to grab a Hiyori. Great. Awesome. But we do put the Shirahoshi there, so we will be able to filter our hand a little bit. And hopefully we can find something. I think we get rid of one of these. Is it smart to get rid of the impact? I hate getting rid of an Amaru or so early. I usually like to hold on to it, but because we don't have any removal for what could potentially be like a 4-cost Kuzan, we don't have like a Gadatsu. The impact acts as a backup Gadatsu, so at least there's that. This Tashigi is new in OP06 for the Sakazuki deck. On play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Navy type card other than Tashigi and reveal it, then put it into your hand, then place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So we don't really have anything here, so let's go Hiyori just to take the top. Let's put it back. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you're like, oh, I actually like this card. And because they're at 3 life, and if they hit me, then it comes out. So, yeah. They could very well just like Ice Age, Houndblaze, or Great Eruption Houndblaze it. Well, we'll see. It does feel bad dropping 2 2Ks, but you know, what am I using him for anyway? Then the next turn I can go 5, my leader, 7 with the Kikunojo, and then 7 with the Russian now. 4 here is... I knew it. I knew they were going to do something with the Kikunojo. But, these guys. They're going to have to Houndblaze it. They're not going to KO it at all. So, I probably Houndblaze and swing 6 at lead. Oh. Oh, yeah. I forgot about this new... like, it's basically the... what is it called? The Lucci effect, but it bottom decks instead. So, yeah. It's pretty solid. Oh, I forgot that I was at this life. Or at this... Well, that's awkward. I mean, I'm going to do it. I don't care. Let's use the card action, take the top life, see what we got. So it was one of these. It's fine. We'll just go hard. We'll just go hard in the paint. We'll get the impact off of it. We'll be able to draw. Yeah, this hand is like not amazing. To be quite honest, his hand is pretty garbage, but what are you going to do? Draw 1. And then the next turn, we'll go 6, 7. By the way, this is one of the reasons... Oh, actually... I don't think we can. I don't think we can anymore. Because they played that, I don't think we can anymore. I can't believe I'm going to play down another Hiyori. We'll take the top life. Oh, that's actually pretty good. That's pretty good. I can't believe I played all these 2Ks down on the field. What's going on with me? So weird. I wanted to play the Enel, but knowing that they have a Kuzan on the field means that the Enel is probably not going to last very long. They could go pretty hard here, but we'll use this trigger. We go here, here. What do we get rid of? The question. Probably this. It's fine. Lucci to get rid of the 2Ks. That's whatever. I imagine they're just saving all of their big stuff here. Oh, do they not have? Oh, they do. Okay, they got rid of a bunch of stuff. So they can't Lucci again, per se. They do have the Borsalino. That's fine. Let's go 6 here. And then we'll just start playing our Yamatos. Yep. That Amaru would be very, very useful. So would that impact. I think when you're playing with a hand where it's just a bunch of nothing early game against a Sakazuki, it rather sucks. Because like having them have 8 cards in their hand is something I don't want to see against the Sakazuki. I think I should save it. Yeah, I think I should save that. I'll usually just counter out with a 2K, like a Satori or a Hiyori instead of a beige, because I don't want them to see that I have those. Okay, here they go. They're doing all their bullshit. Here we go. Here we go. Here it comes. What else do they got? What else they got for me? Is this a Ice Age? Do something. Yep. Ice Age. What else they got? Is it another Lucci? Oh. Houndblaze. Alrighty. Yeah, I think we just counter out. That's fine. I think we go another 6 at face. Are we scared of the Lucci? Because, like, the thing is, if I swing 6 at the Lucci, they're going to just counter out a 1K. They're going to do the same thing with the Borsalino, but we have to force them to block. Go 6 here. They didn't block. They gave us a 2K, which is actually really good. We wanted to see that instead. That's really good. And then if worst... Oh my god, another Ice Age. Worst comes to worse, we'll play our Katakuri, put the Shirahoshi back in life, and then we'll swing 7, do the Katakuri, put the Shirahoshi back in. I think that's fine, right? I'll usually take that one. I could counter out of that and be fine, but yeah. It is what it is. Down to 8. Then they'll use Ice Age, get it down to 3. Ice Age. They might go like 7 with the Lucci. I imagine that they have like a Borsalino Ice Age in their hand. So they go Ice Age, get it down to 3, Borsalino bottom deck it, and then swing 7 with the Lucci. Okay, we're not going to let that go through. If we can counter out, let's counter out. Force them to attack with other things instead. Just don't get rid of both Shirahoshis, please. Let me have one. We have one more impact. 2 more Amarus. 2 more Russian Enels. Not that we're wanting to play it quite yet. We have 2 more Yamatos as well. What? Was this Gecko Moria? 3 cards in hand, though. That's not amazing for them. What do they have? Are they doing like Suru Lucci? That's fair. Right? That's fair. Now let's go 7 at face. We'll play our Katakuri. We have a fair amount of counter in hand, so we're chilling. Oh, and we get the Amaru. Okay, cool. This is good for us. Let's go 0 here. We'll go 7 at face. Okay. That's 1 less 2k counter. We'll recycle. Hang on. Hang on to your pants, lads. This is going to be a close one. I think if we can counter out of anything that we can, let's do it. If we can get another Amaru, let's do it. If we can get an impact with the Shirahoshi, let's do it. Our ideal play here is Katakuri stays alive, which is asking for a lot. I know they have 3 cards in hand, but asking a lot. Katakuri stays alive. We don't take too much damage. Okay, let's counter out. Let's counter out of this one. Let's do it. Onami, because we have another one. Okay. That's 1 less attack we have to worry about. Counter out. We want them to attack in. Obviously, Gecko Moria is going to hit us. Yes, let's do it. Trigger. Let's get rid of these 2. We do have the Yamato now to sustain ourselves. That is something we can do. Are they running Usopp? There's no way to do this, right? For them to, like, kill us this turn? What could they possibly have? Like, they could go Rebecca. Well, they have 2 Rebeccas in the trash. Borsalino in the trash. They could just go, like, Rebecca. Huh. That's a tough one. What do they do? Great. Another Gecko Moria. Love it. Awesome. Great. Okay. Rebecca. Sure. Huh. We have to clear bodies now. That's the sad thing here, is we have to clear the bodies. We have to go 6 with the Lucci, we have to go 8 with the Katakuri, and then play the Yamato, unless we get something else here. But I don't... If we get another Amaru, we just go for game. But, or if we get an impact, we might be able to go for game as well. What does this do? Gets me down to 4. Can't do anything with that. Oh, we can't even go for the Lucci. Borsalino. We can't play the Borsalino. Alright. Amaru. Wait, what? What? This guy's crazy. He's insane. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Let's go face. Let's go face. We might have should have gone for the Borsalino there, but it'll be a close one. What do we have in our life that can help us out? We have 2 beige in the trash. So we have 2 beige left. We have 1 more Amaru left. We have an Onami, potentially. Did they go for my Katakuri here? I feel like they do, right? No, I feel like they just go for game. They have to go for game here. I feel like. Oh, buddy. Let's go. That forces them to swing with the Borsalino if they want to go for game here. One more beige. Oh, and we can counter out of this one. Let's go. Let's go. Oh my gosh. Is this why beige is going to get banned? A third Gecko Moria. This is why Gecko Moria is going to get banned. Yay. That's insane, man. This card is insane. Well, we know we can attack through unless they play like, they can't play anything else here. So yeah, okay, getting the Rebecca is fine for them. We can rest one of the Rebeccas and then just swing big. They can't, they're not going to be able to counter out of a 9 unless they get like a 2k back here, which they might. We'll have to do some math in a second, but I think we potentially have the win here if we do the math right. So right now we have to be able to swing 9 unless they get like a 2k back. So it's, we can swing 11. They'll have to block. Another 11. Have to block. I think we can go 11, 11, 11. 3 11s, yeah. What? What are they doing? Celino? Ah, so they don't have, they have a 1 and a, what do they do? Why did they get rid of, they had 3 Gecko Morias, or 2 Gecko Morias on the field. Why'd they get rid of 1? Or 2? What is, I would never do that. I guess they're just like scared of losing here. Huh. Houndblaze. So this is a 1k, this is a dead card, and this is, so we just, let's just, pretend that they have like 2, let's just pretend that they have like 3 2ks here, right? So we would go the math here, we go like 11, we go 3 here, 11, 8, and then another 11. So let's just, we'll have to block here, for sure. One, 2, 3. 11. 2, 3. 3 11s, there's no way they get out of this. GG. Yeah, double Houndblaze and a 1k. So, yeah, that was a really close one. They saw a lot of Gecko Morias. I don't know why they got rid of some of them, but overall, I think this is what Sakazuki. That's how I feel about this. Sakazuki is supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be just getting rid of all your stuff. And with Enel, you kind of hopefully don't play as badly as I did to start off with the early game and just play all your Hioris back to back to back. You should be playing something like a Gidatsu or like a Kiku Nojo, and then throwing down like Enels into things that sustain yourself like the Katakuris and Yamatos. So the Shirahoshi ended up proving to be very valuable because we were able to draw into our top end there. So yeah, overall, this is how you're supposed to play against Sakazuki if you can. Just don't throw as many Hioris down as I did. Alrighty, well there you have it. This is OP06 Enel at its finest. We'll see in a little bit. At the time of this recording, we're a couple days away from the ban or restriction announcement, so there might be some changes, and if there are some changes, I will be going over this deck again with the changes in mind, if there are any that apply to this leader. There might be a few. We might see Amaru, or we might see Capone hit, or even Rushanel, who knows. We'll see when we see it, which hopefully nothing too horrible happens overall, because everybody loves a good, healthy meta. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys got something good from this, and if so, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.